bit ago, Joe said to me, hey, how about we bring a guy onto the show who knows more about hockey than people in probably 4 collective states.
Or that actually knows something about hockey, unlike us.
Well, there's that, too. And I said, well, as long as it's Jay Zawaski, that's the guy we can talk to. That's the guy who's on the line. Executive producer at The Score, Blackhawks analyst, insider, host of the Madhouse Pod. I'm Fat Pod. This guy's got it all. There's not enough hours in the day for Jay to get all this stuff done. Jay, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on again. I appreciate it.
Real pleasure to have you on with us as well. Hey, how's the Blackhawks book going, the Big 50?
It's done. It is done. I'm in the process of editing the book right now. Just going through, crossing the T's, dotting the lowercase J's, all those sort of things. And then as of now, it is scheduled to be out in November, and that we're on schedule. So it's good. It's real. I've got the PDF copy, which is kind of strange to see my name on book pages and all that stuff, but it's getting real. So yeah, thanks for mentioning it. By the way, if anyone wants to pre-order it, you can go to my Twitter account at jzawaski670, and it's the pinned tweet there. So, and support your local bookstores, please. The
Big 50, the men and moments that made the Chicago Blackhawks. If you are a fan or you love a fan, make sure you get a copy of that. You're going to absolutely love it.
That's a gimme Christmas gift right there.
Right there.
Right. Layup.
That's exactly right. I demanded in my negotiation case of books just to throw at people. Hey, how about a free steak? Hey, I got a book for you.
Let's barter. Let's barter.
He's a shrewd negotiator.
Exactly.
He's fine. So yesterday, big. Is this his big news? Yesterday, as we heard from Gary Bettman. I mean, hockey's happening, right? In 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. Correct?
That sounds a little optimistic. It is good news in that the NHL is an upset, was the first league to come up with some sort of tangible plan of when we return to hockey, this is what it will look like. I still want to caution people. All of this is with the caveat of widespread testing being available, player safety, it's the safety of the staff and everybody. So we're talking at the earliest, hockey games being played end of July. I think maybe more realistic, you're looking at early to mid-August. But it does appear that if they clear all those safety hurdles, that yes, they'll be back. And who could have predicted the Blackhawks would be a playoff team?
Right. Are they a playoff team? Do these count? Because I've heard differing of views. Are these playoff games that first round, or are they're not regular season games?
I think if you ask Stan Bowman and Jeremy Collin, they say, hell yes, these are playoff games. We made the playoffs.
Right.
But I think somebody asked me this yesterday. I said I will consider them a playoff team if they win the play-in series against the Oilers. If they win that and get into the actual Stanley Cup playoff tournament, the next round, it would be against the Dallas Stars probably. Then yes, they're a playoff team. But they have to win that 5-game play-in series for me to give them that credit. They were the 12th seed. I mean, it's no secret why the NHL said 12 teams from each side, because the 12 in the West was Chicago, the 12 in the East was Montreal, and they absolutely need Chicago and Montreal in the playoffs if they can make it happen.
We're getting into kind of a minutia here, but if Patrick Kane scores, 3 goals against whoever the first round opponent is, or Edmonton, are those playoff goals for his career? Or do they fall into a weird twilight zone?
Well, yeah, I guess they'd probably count it as postseason goals because the regular season is over. They slammed the door in the regular season yesterday, so everything from here on out that counts will be considered postseason hockey. So I would imagine those stats will go into his career playoff numbers. That's an interesting question, but I think they've got so many other things to worry about. Maybe they haven't gotten there yet. But that makes the most sense to me, because I think the argument would be there's other teams that didn't have the opportunity to add to the regular season statistics, and he did. So I think they would just count it as a postseason thing.
Looking at how this is stacking up and, the dribs and drabs of information that are coming out and how we're going to go about all this, if all of a sudden, somebody wised up and made you the commissioner of the NHL, what would you do?
I like the plan they have. Honestly, I think that if you read through the 22 pages of detail, which is really exciting, and I could do that if you guys want, I could just read the entire document. They have laid out a good plan. My priority if I was a commissioner, would be safety for everybody involved, from top to bottom, from Patrick Kane down to the locker room attendant. If safety is at all in question, I would just probably punt on the season. And I know that's not a popular answer. I know it's not what sports fans want to hear. But the reality is that sports are simply not as important as people being safe, people being protected, communities being protected. And, they're talking about Chicago as a host city. Mm-hmm. Well, Chicago hasn't hit their peak yet. Illinois has not hit the peak until, they're saying, the middle of June. I don't know what they think is, how Chicago is going to be ready to host this in July. The only conclusion I can come up with is maybe these games are not only being played at the United Center. You could utilize the Allstate Arena. You can utilize the Blackhawks practice facility, which has NHL rinks and NHL facilities. All you need is a camera there, and you can get the job done. And the abundance of hotels near the arenas. Those are probably the reasons I would think that major cities are being considered. Mm-hmm. But from a safety standpoint, I think it's a little bit far-fetched to think that Illinois and especially Chicago is going to be ready to go end of July in terms of safely accommodating all those players and potentially their families as well.
I think they released, 8 proposed hub cities. If you believe what you see on the internet, it sounds like Las Vegas is kind of a favorite to hold one. Have you heard that as well? And where would you bet the second hub's going to be?
Vegas is one of the favorites for sure. And like I mentioned with Chicago, there's obviously a ton of hotels right there with tons of room. It would allow players to spread out. Even if they were all in the same hotel, you get assigned floors to teams, things like that. As for the Eastern Conference, it's not as clear because a lot of those cities are big cities, and I think maybe a city like Columbus could be considered. It's a big city with the accommodations you need. It's got a nice arena in a central downtown area, but it's also not, I haven't researched their COVID numbers, but it doesn't seem like they're as affected as some of the major cities. So that would make sense to me as an Eastern Conference team. But then you've got, it's more central, but I believe Columbus is Eastern time, right? Yeah,
it is
Eastern time. So to me, that probably would seem at the moment like the safest place. But again, we don't know. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. We don't know what next week is going to bring. So I like the fact that the NHL is saying, all right, here's our list of cities. They're probably saying in an ideal scenario, Chicago and Pittsburgh or Chicago and Boston are host cities because of their, the abundance of arenas, et cetera. But from a safety standpoint, some of the smaller market teams might be best. I think Vegas makes a ton of sense for the Western Conference. It's just a matter of how is Nevada handling a potential outbreak, a potential surge. Are people taking it seriously, et cetera, et cetera? And if they're doing that in Vegas, then by the end of July, maybe they're ready to go. I think that as far as accommodations go, you can, if you're a player, even without the gambling, even if the casinos aren't open, mm-hmm. you've got these giant sprawling hotels that are made to accommodate you. I think that would be ideal. That's where I would want to go.
Jay, how come we're not, or maybe you are, but we haven't seen very much of the thing that we're seeing with baseball. Where's the prorated disputes? Where are the salary disputes? Where's the arguments about whose money is what and all that? We're not hearing a lot of that about the NHL. It's more about how do we get this back going again?
Yeah, I think the fact that salaries are so much lower in the NHL than they are in other sports. There's also a hard salary cap. You're also dealing with a season that's already been mostly played as opposed to a brand new season starting. They've already played 70-some games. So, what are they really going to prorate? Plus, you also don't know how many games are the Hawks going to play. They could play 3. They could play, a ton. They could play a bunch of 7-game series as things advance. So I think that's tough, especially I think the main reason is the vast majority of the season has been played, and, players don't make a ton anyway. I think it's the right thing to do is just pay them for the season because that's basically what they've done.
Jay, buddy, I know you got a show to get ready for, so we'll let you go.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, and when we get a date set for that Blackhawks Edmonton series, we'll have you back on for a preview. How's that sound?
Sounds wonderful. I can't wait. Look, I'm really excited about this. It's going to be really exciting to watch. Just let's hope they don't rush in anything. Let's do what's right for the players and everybody.
And you guys out there, don't forget to get yourself Jay's book for that Blackhawks fan in your life. Maybe it's you, but you're going to want to grab that book as soon as you possibly can.
Or 2 or 3.
Or give them away as to friends, sure. Jay, thanks a lot. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you, guys.